I'm gonna get Stacy with Awnings R Us to move his trailer forward so that the panels will be in the sun. And then hopefully we can go over the installation that I've done so far at this point. It's technically all working, but nothing's put back together because, you know, I don't trust myself to have it wired up and secured yet. So, I mean, that's pretty good news, isn't it, Stacy? I didn't fry everything else up yet?
Yeah, I don't smell anything.
Life sure got easier once you got backup cameras, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep going. That's good. All right, I took a look on the roof. We got like that much on the solar panel of shade. So we're gonna go forward just a little bit more. Good. It's gonna look prettier than this, don't worry. It'll look better, I swear.
Will I get to put my snowboard through here?
Maybe. I would recommend not to though. I have to drill some holes in the battery sides, but I don't know. You shouldn't be working too hard in the north, right?
No, I won't be working hard at all.
I know.
It's not like work when the weather's in the mid-70s.
Exactly. In the shade, it was still making 2 amps.
I'm gonna go get
You won't be going too fast with your truck. You definitely need your weight distribution on. So I don't think your panels will rip off at the slow speed you're going to be going. It looks like we're making about 1,500 watts of solar right now in the full sun. And we have 450 watt panels, so not too bad.
about, what, 20% loss?
Well, I mean, it's not high noon yet, right?
Yeah.
A little dirty up there.
Yeah, they're not super clean. I saw the dust on them. That might make a little difference. But
A little different, so not too bad.
Because if we get 1,500 watt panels, it'd probably be like 1,300.
Yeah.
Or 1,250.
All right. Well, at least it's doing something.
Yeah. Someone did something right.
Oh. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the installation. This wasn't a how-to install because I would never make anybody want to follow my lead on something like this. All right, so right there in the middle are going to be the 3 Vader 51.2 server rack batteries. I got them secured, I think, pretty substantially well. I ran you guys through that. So it's secured to the front of the box there and to the back of the box there on this 3/4 inch cabinet grade plywood. So I'm fairly confident that the batteries aren't going to go too far. On the back is going to be the Victron Lynx smart bus bar. It's got the built-in fuse holder. I'm not using the smart functions of it. I just didn't want to build my own distribution center, and it worked out just fine for the price. I did hook up a smart shunt. Now, this is just a known resistance that the system can use to check how much wattage or amperage is going through the battery. So that's the main ground going to the battery. Like right now, I'm only hooked up to this one battery. If you look at the smart shunt, it says about almost 19 amps of it's getting back to the battery. And we only have one battery hooked up currently, but the inverters are on, the refrigerator's going, and the DC to DC charger is operating. So the good news is I didn't put 48 volts to the rest of your RV. That's the only breaker that's on. The other 2 are off because I need to charge up each battery full before I hook them all together. We've covered that before. Now directly to the left right here is a DC to DC converter. This is a new battery charger because now remember we have 3 electrical systems in this trailer now. 120 shore power system, the 12 volt electrical system that the trailer's going to come with, along with the 12 volt battery there. And then we have the 48 volt, or I guess 51 volt inverter batteries there. So these inverters are going to charge up those batteries when it's plugged into power. So only real way to charge up the 12 volt system is going to be plugged into the truck or the tow vehicle. That'll still go to the batteries just like normal. Or we need to take the 48 volt and convert it into 12 volt, which I have routed over this. So there's a disconnect for it. That's 30 amp breaker. It goes over here, down, over behind the wall, and down over to here. I did put another inline fuse holder because technically I have power on this side and on that side. So remember, overcurrent protection just to keep the wire from melting and starting fires, not to protect components. But if I were to get the meter out right here, switch this over to DC, hooked up to ground there. Of course the wire's right in front of it. We're charging at a good 12.9. I'm happy enough with that. On the top of here you can adjust the voltage coming out of the converter box. It's pretty smart power, but I need the battery up front because, like I said before, this only has a maximum output of 30 amp, and likely if we go over there, the onboard overcurrent protection would cut out the system. So if you're putting down these electric jacks and you had all the lights and everything inside, and this amped up too much, maybe past 30 amps, if it kick that, you lose all your power inside without having some sort of a capacitor in the system like this battery. Now, these battery cables might look awful, but they won't be there forever. I'm going to be putting a crossbar right there to support everything and to protect the batteries. Over here on the right, we have the two inverters. They're the the MultiPlus 2 48 volt. These are a pain. I'm not a big fan. I know Victron systems are really nice and they're very reliable and they're well made, but I hate these connectors right down there for 110. You have to either get a punch to open it up, or you have to be really strong and push them in there. It's not just a set screw that it should be. This is a junction box that's coming out of the inverters back to the distribution panel. Above here is your solar charge controller. There's a 48 volt one. Right over here is the disconnect for the solar panels. So overcurrent protection from this point up into the roof using the factory wiring that existed there. So right now I'm hooked up to only the one battery, and it's showing that it is charging. It's at 68%. We're putting that 19 amps in that we said we were.
I think they said, but these batteries, you want to charge each one up individually, completely full.
Correct. I need to charge them individually.
Yeah, then parallel.
That's why I needed to move the trailer. I'll go inside now. Now the factory was set it up to have the charge controller from Go Power located right there, but I thought that disconnect was going to look awful, so I just went ahead and made a quick disconnect right here. So this is coming from the panels. This is going down to the disconnect down in the front. So right now the 12 volt system is working fine because we're using the 48 volt battery to charge a 12 volt system. It's pretty clean power. And then down here, this is important. On the right side of the box right there is the original battery converter that would take 110 shore power and turn it into battery power to power up all the DC and charge the battery on the front. Now it's very important that we disable the charger because perpetual energy doesn't exist. We don't want to take a 48 volt DC, turn it into 110 power, and turn it back into 12 volt DC to charge up that battery up front. It's an endless drain on the system, and it's very inefficient. So over here, the fourth breaker is the power converter. I could take that wire out right there. I won't pull it out just in case Stacy ever wants to trade this in. You can re-enable it really easily, but we do need to disable the onboard battery charger. Now, I do have the two inverters running, but the main breaker right there is turned off. And of course, the other thing I don't like about the Victron inverters is there's no rhyme or reason for the ports underneath there. Some are big, some are small, even though the wires that go in between them all are going to be either the same size or different sizes. Doesn't make any sense to me. I didn't cover it down here. Over there is the smart dongle. I'll get into the system a little bit and try to explain it a little bit more in depth once it's all wrapped up. I have found that the servo and the remote display that everybody loves is not quite as user-friendly if you're in an off-grid situation where you don't have reliable Wi-Fi or internet connectivity. The other thing I'm not a big fan about is having to program the inverters. And then to program it, you need to have the programmer right here, and there is a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to the Victron system itself, where people don't really want to help everybody else, want to charge for everything, and they want you to be a distributor. There's like so many crazy things going on all the time. There's so many possibilities that the system can be used for, but you know, we don't need to do everything here. We just need them to kind of work. All right, let's see if that setting's good. So now if we come here to the power coming in, the two of them put together, we should have 240 volts, which we do. So now we can go ahead and turn main power on. Refrigerator and freezer is back alive. Look at that, I still have ice in there. Microwave's working, TV's working, If you've ever followed my channel at all, you know I'm not a huge fan of these smart RVs where they have a touch panel to control everything. Stacy's is gone. I can't access it with my phone. We've already covered this. And the thermostat is installed in the touchscreen, so I can't even try the ACs out currently. Well, I understand the advantage of being able to do everything from your phone remotely. I am a huge fan of rocker switches and mechanically operated thermostats because not everybody's going to be camping where you have endless activities, or people don't always use their RVs. They don't know how they work, so it's easier if it's just a mechanical rocker switch. Sometimes you loan out your RV and you don't want to spend 15 days training somebody else how to use your RV, downloading apps, and understanding how the system works. But most importantly, sometimes you just want to turn the AC on. So while Stacy gets me the controller for the front, really I'm just going to finish tidying everything up and put everything back together, because if you remember, the bathroom is something of a disaster right there. The junction box is going to barely fit right there. And then I still have to put the furnace back in and do a LP leak test. I did it, guys, and would you believe I only kind of lost my mind doing this installation and build. The programming of the Victron Multi-Plus 2 was an absolute miserable situation because Victron does not support anybody directly, though you have to go through their dealers, and the dealer I bought from, Santan Solar, does not have any support. Alright, I am cheating a little bit, guys, charging up the batteries. I had the first two charged. The last one I'm charging up right now. I'm going to use the Victron to charge it up along with the solar above, because remember we're supposed to balance all three batteries out fully charged and then connect them together, wait about 12 to 24 hours before we completely make that battery bank. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the inverters back on. Okay, looking good. Even heard that generator step up a little bit. Oh, I almost died. This is so much extra work. Oh wait, let me go to here. I'm putting in about 26 amps at 55 volts. I go to the app for the BMS on battery number 3, which was I'm charging right now. You can see it's at 73%. It'll take about 37 minutes, so I guess 34 minutes now to charge this thing up, now that everything's happening. So that's not too bad. Now if I were to go to here, I go to Smart Solar. Right now the panels are making about 1,000 watts at 8:50 in the morning, but now almost 16 amps at 62 volts. Well, I guess that's not true. 17 and a half amps at 54 volts. That's better, because 62 is a little high. So we have a lot of sunlight left for the day, and I'll be able to hook up all these batteries today and test it all out. But in the meantime, I'm going to be inside working, and I'm burning Stacy's fuel anyway, so I might as well turn the AC on. Very nice. Alright guys. Okay guys, all the batteries are now chopped off and charged. We'll take a look at them. So I have to turn everything off, so I'll turn the AC off. Turn the inverter off. Turn off my DC to DC charger, and of course the solar input to everything. Lastly, I need to turn off all the batteries, then I can turn off the generator. But if we go back to the batteries here, I don't see anything crazy going on. Alright, well, Now everybody's so concerned about the cells. I don't really care about looking at the cells individually. I don't really care about looking at any of this stuff. Either they work or they don't. They seem to work. 206 hours. Now I don't think that it's really necessary, but to appease everybody, I'll put some safety glasses on because I do like my eyes quite a bit. Now I know this still kind of looks like a mess up here. It's just because I haven't secured everything. Those are just battery feeds to the inverter. This is going to be the main ground right here. That goes to the power shunt. And right now this is currently the main positive to the bus bar there. All of them are turned off. I have this one as the main ground, so let me do this in parallel. The farthest battery this way should be the main positive. And we'll just do parallel in between, just like on the ground. And even though maybe it doesn't need it, I did oversize the main positive compared to the cables that are connecting the batteries together. I did the same thing on the ground. It's a little bit bigger, same gauge, 2 gauge, and even to the inverters. Maybe that's just holdovers from my 12 volt point of view, but couldn't hurt, right? Then the last thing to be aware of, the inverters did come with a temperature sensor. So I have 2 of them. I'm not sure how vital they are because the batteries have their own temperature sensors, but it came with it. It'll give us some more readings off the inverter. So I'll put one right here and one on the far battery there, even though I guess the inside battery might be a better temperature to check. Now I may have given you some bad information. It was showing 4 batteries in parallel, but apparently you can do up to 10 batteries. So 10 times 100, that's 1,000 amp hours you could get. And with 48 volt, well, 51 volt, I guess that's 51,000 watt hours. Sheesh. All right, so I got that one. We'll go straight to the battery there. Put the connector. Let's go hand tight for now. All right, I'll just put the last main battery cable on here. This will be the main positive. And then it goes over here to that battery. I did put the other temperature sensor on the other unused connection on that battery. I don't think you're supposed to double up these. And then we'll just tighten everything up. Sorry, it's very tight in here. Now before I turn the batteries on, I got all these little protective terminal covers so that if anything falls down on top of these batteries, we're not going to short out. They say safety is key. I'm not sure why they say that. Alright, well here goes nothing. I'm going to turn the batteries on. Okay. So if I go to the screen, second page, looks like those are on. See the selectors there are on. Go to the screen, go to the second page. Looks like everything's on. Go to the page, second page. Looks like everything's on. And you guys saw they're all at 100%. So now I'm supposed to leave this for about 12 to 24 hours for them to balance out, I guess. That's what the instructions said. So we'll do that. So really kind of the last thing to do while it's doing this is clean up my mess. And I guess wait for those batteries to settle up and enjoy themselves. I'll secure all the battery harnesses, put everything back together, and tell Stacy how to operate this thing. On this one, I just go to the Jayco command right here. And before we do that, let me go to Victron. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the inverters here. And with that, we'll be able to see the wattage coming out. This is the rear AC, and it should be on line 2, which is right now at 148 watts. So now if I switch over to here and I turn it on, well, we're at 1300 watts. You know, Stacy, I know you're busy putting that slide out topper on, but if I'm reading this correctly, right now your solar panel's putting out about 1300 watts. I got the rear AC going on your inverter, and we're pulling about 10 amps off the battery. As it stands, looks like we could run that AC for about 22 hours.
48 volts, baby.
So that should hopefully work out for you where the weather's better. And remember, we're still 2 hours away from full sun.
I am happy. I'm a happy camper, soon to be.
Soon to be.
Yes.
If only we knew what we were doing. Make you feel better again. So my 2000 watt array right now, nah, maybe I'm not. It's 1600 kilowatts it's making. Whereas yours, you're making 1300 out of a, I guess we have the same sun here now.
Yeah.
Yours is more responsive though. Because I didn't start making power until about an hour ago. You've been making power for a few hours.